Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's see how this is looking on my end. I'm checking from my phone. I did not like the way that lagging happened on that intro there. I think so far we seem okay. Alright, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Not going to be surprised. I got to figure out what's going on with that intro. It keeps lagging whenever I do it, which I don't like that. It gives me bad hopes for my streams, but what do I do? Guys, what is going on? How y'all doing this Sunday afternoon? This is the Club of the Man 1993. It is cold out. It is snowy. I hope you are all home safe and taking the proper precautions wherever you are right now with this horrible snowstorm we are getting right now currently. I'm not going to lie. I'm already over winter. But it's been a bit. I have done, I've only done really one video since I came back from my business trip, like almost 2 weeks ago, however long it's been since I've been back, which is my Royal Rumble match card. I have been doing some other stuff behind the scenes. Good news, though, is I have everything laid out, finally, for the first of the best and worst match review series. If I do have the time this week to put the finishing touches on it, maybe by the end of the week we might see the first of those. And once again, they're edited so that way, once the first one's done, the rest are not too far behind. So I am excited to finally get that series going, and hopefully it'll be debuting at the end of this coming week. Hopefully. Can't guarantee. I got a lot going on. That's why I haven't had a chance really to do many videos the past couple of weeks. But I'm here now, and we are going to talk. We're going to talk about last night's edition of WWE's Saturday Night's Main Event. The January 24th, 2026 edition took place at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Since it's been a few weeks as well, the matches we talk about, I am going to kind of give like a little brief, comments on maybe a few things that might be going on around it as well. I'm not sure. Really, the one that I'm going to have probably the most to say is from what happened in the opener. Because that's the only spot of the show that I kind of like left head scratching a little bit. The rest of this show, I'll be honest again, these Saturday Night's Main Events, I don't feel like they're meant to be the most standout shows of the year, in my opinion. They sometimes feel like glorified live house shows with some development. But from what we started at when we first brought back Saturday Night's Main Event to now, it feels a little bit smoother. It feels a little bit cleaner. I like the 4-match format. I do like, I think the timing is smoother and whatnot. Wish we had a little bit more development on these shows, I'll be honest, especially this one is the week before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. which is going to be next week in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, what was I going to say now? So yeah, I always get my hopes up with that, but I still feel like I gotta keep my expectations lower for Saturday's main event. But with that being said, though, again, I feel like that this was probably the strongest edition we have had, in my opinion, since we brought it back. Since main event, like I said, there was a early match of the year candidate with one small botch in it. The main event was great. It was fun. The women's tag match as well was fun as well. That opener, I'm still not sure how I feel about. It wasn't actually a match in the end, but I felt like it was kind of a thing where it's like, did we really have to do this? And this is what we're going to get. And I'll explain myself when we get to that moment. But first, as always, we got to check our lovely live chat that seems to be popping a little bit. So let's see what we got here to say. We got Hayes. Tyler, he says, I like they show a Monday Night Wars cover on WWE 2K26. I'll pre-order the game this month. I did see that they had that version of it, which I think is very cool for definitely some old school wrestling fans. I definitely like that they did do that. Can we end the Judgment Day? I keep hoping yes, but then there's other things that happen, and I'm kind of like, I think this is going to be around for a while. So I have no clue when the Judgment Day are going to be disbanding. I keep feeling it could be this year's WrestleMania. I don't know. But I'm ready. I'm definitely ready to move on from them. Even though they have their little peaks and quirks to it. I still have a fantasy booking video I want to do about something regarding the Judgment Day. Even though for what happened on Raw this past week, with how they booked Finn Balor in Belfast, it may not happen now for what I'm thinking should happen. So I have no clue which direction they're going with anything with Judgment Day these days. We got our good pal Robbie Kenobi in the live chat going, Mikey, starting early today, eh? I mean, it is 1 o'clock here, but I hope you and the family are safe given the weather conditions. Right now, yes, my work already canceled for tomorrow, so I'm already off work tomorrow. But yeah, we did all of our shopping yesterday before the snow came in. So we plan on being home today and now tomorrow as well. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying home being safe and just getting stuff around the house done. And if I have time, get some YouTube stuff caught up as well. If I can, of course. Sorry guys, again, I have other priorities in life right now and it's just crazy. But well worth it, I gotta be honest. Mike, do you happen to remember any of the lesser-known miscast feuds that happened going into WrestleMania 36 before the pandemic struck? Do you happen to remember any of the lesser-known miscast feuds? Well, of course, there is the one that stands out to me always, and that's the Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Mandy Rose storyline. I also think of, that's around the time when they were breaking up Bobby Lashley and Lana. Remember, Bobby Lashley fought Aleister Black in a random throwaway match on that show. Well, because it was on my list as one of the worst matches of that year. Remember when they had Elias fight King Corbin on that show? Oh, gosh. Oh, man, that was so bad. Sasha Banks and Bayley were, running both shows at the time, basically. I feel like I'm definitely forgetting a few others. I'm trying to remember what other matches happened on that show. I don't know, but definitely the big standout, because the one that I really thought would have gotten a huge pop, had it would have been in front of an audience, was that Otis and Dolph Ziggler match for sure. Oh man. I remember they had Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn for the IC title. It didn't make my list for worst matches of 2020 for my upcoming series, but I remember absolutely hating that match because I just hated how they reduced Sami Zayn into the role he was in. But yeah, I know we were supposed to get Roman Reigns and Goldberg, but Roman backed out because of the pandemic. So instead, Braun Strowman fought him instead. Of course, we can't forget the amazing Boneyard match with AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Yeah, there's a few of them. This is thinking in there. He also said the finish of the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura match was more climactic than the WrestleMania 34 finish. Glad they got the chance to make up for that match. Oh yes, we are going to talk about that match when we get to it. Definitely. I'll say that it's the early ways. I know that, between wrestling in New Japan and wrestling for WWE, styles are going to be different. It's not going to be the same. And that's something that I wish I would have known about more, taking into account before the WrestleMania 34 match. But I feel like what we got on this episode, from this match at Saturday Night's Main Event, I feel like we got the best we're gonna get between these two in WWE. And if that's the case, I'm cool with that. Tyler said this show felt like a house show. Again, kind of did, but again, there's not, like Triple H said in the press conference after WrestleMania 41, there's going to be everyone's going to have a lot of great tunes. Some are going to be, great. Some are going to be just good. That's really what Saturday Night's Main Event is. Can we stop having Rhea and Liv going at this is getting overkill right now? You know what's funny? When we were watching it last night, my wife mentioned the same exact thing. Even though it has been a while, they haven't done it that much since Rhea beat Liv for the title last January. But I get why that feeling is still there, for sure. Like I said, my wife even mentioned it too last night. Elias versus King Corbin, oh god. Yes, that was a WrestleMania match. Elias versus King Corbin. Good lord. Mark, thank you for joining us. I'm hanging in there. Again, it's cold outside and snowy, but I'm doing good. Hope you are too, my friend. If you ask me, Triple H booked that AJ and Shinsuke match way better than Vince did. Oh, yes. Absolutely, yes, for sure. The way that match went last night, I would have been more accepting of that as their WrestleMania match, had they would have done that. But we are going to roll in and talk about the show, though, guys, and get things rolling. Because if I do have some time, I have a couple of topic videos I do want to put out there. I know one I mentioned is kind of a fantasy booking involved in the Judgment Day. The first one I'm going to do, though, is actually another fantasy booking idea I have for, even though I doubt it's going to happen, but just something I want to run past for the whole Who Attacked Jacob Fatu storyline that we have right now. But that will be for hopefully today, if not another day this week. Like I said, I want to get those videos caught up with. I got my Rumble predictions I'm going to do at some point this week as well. I will not, though, at this time be doing live reactions, though, for this year's Rumble match due to time constraints I have with my friends next Saturday and their schedule as well. So I'm not going to worry about doing a live reaction, which it sucks because I like live reacting for the Rumble, but not this year, unfortunately. It'd also be the last time I watch any pay-per-views with my friends for a while, because the next couple, Chamber is the day of my sister's wedding, and Mania is most likely going to be the weekend where my daughter is going to be born. So yeah, a lot of things come up for me. It just feels like nothing ever slows down in my life, but that's what being an adult is about. Sometimes there's things you have to sacrifice. It sucks at first when you realize you have to, sacrifice some things, but eventually you gotta just, accept it and be grown up about it. But anyways, I do see Robbie has another comment in the live chat, but I will save that for later. I do want to get to the review, and we're going to talk about it. So again, this show took place at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Stephanie McMahon was the host. Joe Tessitore, unfortunately, was not able to make it due to weather conditions in Detroit. So it was just Stephanie hosting the show. And no Jesse Ventura as well on this show. But we still had Lillian Garcia as the ring announcer and such. So that was, cool to see her again, as always. The show opened up with what was supposed to be a match with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. Now, this match came about because a few weeks ago, Jacob Fatu made his return after being gone for a few months after getting some dental work done. And he went after Drew McIntyre in the third stage of the 3 stages of Hell match for the Undisputed title. But then Cody Rhodes even got involved, and they brawled too, causing Drew McIntyre to slip out of the cage and finally win the Undisputed WWE Championship. Which I'm relieved and glad that they pulled the trigger and gave the belt to Drew. Because, I think I'm saying for weeks, if they were not going to give Drew McIntyre the belt, why in the world are we even continuing this feud? Because it felt like a feud that was just dragging out for no reason to stall on time. And again, if we're playing that continued, let's play it safe mode, it's gotta end. Especially during WrestleMania season as well. Like, we can't be doing that stuff because it's not going to be creating intriguing television. So, yes, and it still kind of leaves Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, as a possible suspect as who could have attacked Jacob Fatu. So, all this, they're both kind of button heads. So it leads to this match, but the match never happened. Because as Cody was making his entrance, Jacob Fatu had already been out there. He decides to just jump Cody and attack him. And then security gets involved and whatnot, this and that. And they have a nice long 15-20 minute brawl throughout the whole arena. And I will say, the brawl was fun. The part that bothered me, though, that concerns me, is the finish. The finish of that brawl. So, again, Cody and Jacob brawled all throughout the arena, tossed trash cans, pushed away security and whatnot, until they got on top of a road case. And after they knocked off security, somebody else shows up. And it was the champion himself, Drew McIntyre. And he pushed both men off the road case, and they fell through tables. And Kathy Kelly caught him backstage, saying that everybody's got to keep his name out of their mouths or whatnot, this, and that, or something like that. I'm not sure how I feel about Drew getting involved in that, because the story here is that Drew McIntyre said there was another clause in the contract for the 3 Stages of Hell match, stating that Cody Rhodes cannot challenge him for the championship as long as he is champion. So then Cody Rhodes declares for the Royal Rumble. I got my concerns with that. Because, okay, so even after this show, my pick to win the 2026 Rumble is still Sami Zayn. I know he won the main event, spoiler alert. I still think he is the best choice to go with. And again, since him and Drew have a history, Sami's 0-11 against Drew, they could have Sami lose to Drew and then somehow get in the Rumble match at number 30 and get his shot again at WrestleMania. I'm worried they're just going to give it back to Cody and have it and lead to him getting another title shot at WrestleMania. I don't like that. To me, it's like if it will feel no difference than winning a basic number 1 contenders match on SmackDown. And Cody, as much as I love Cody, does not need the Rumble. Honestly, I'm leaning towards, well, okay, if Cody was to win the Rumble and fight CM Punk instead, that I could swallow. But to me, it's like, why would he win the Rumble and not go after the man who just made it very personal with the stuff that Drew has said about his father, with the picture, with the Rolex, and all of the personal things Drew has done to get in his head? Why wouldn't Cody Rhodes go after Drew McIntyre if he won the Rumble? So that's why I'm concerned that Drew got involved, because that's foreshadowing this ain't over yet. And I don't like that. Even if it's a triple threat with Cody, Drew, and Jacob, the idea of Cody being involved in the world title picture at WrestleMania, I'm just not a big fan this year. What I would be okay with still, honestly, I'd be okay if no title was involved in a Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes match. if they really want to do the trilogy, the third WrestleMania match, I would rather them do it without the championship. And if it's a prequel or a precursor to setting up, hopefully, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, I'm getting a little ahead of myself talking about the other Facebook video I want to do, then I would be okay with them doing that match one-on-one without the title. But we'll have to wait and see, because I'd rather see like a Sami Zayn or an LA Knight win this Rumble. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns win it and have that be a championship match. It does not need to be for the title. So yeah, again, the Brawl was fun with Cody and Jacob. It's just that finish, I'm kind of like, ugh. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the Rumble next week. Please don't give it to Cody. Again, I love Cody. I appreciate all he has done. I admire the hard work he did, stepping away and coming back when the time was right. He came back. He made the right call when he came back. I take back everything I said about him when he chose to leave back in 2022. But you can kind of step aside for a second. Just say it. So that's my thoughts on that opener. The only actual title match we had on this show was this women's tag title match with the team of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, or Rio as they're calling themselves, taking on the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. That I'm still wondering, when are they going to start building some more tension with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez? The both of them have some type of involvement with Dominic Mysterio. And obviously, just bring her in like she did, and immediately she was trying to, rub off on Dom, offering him the chicken nuggets, which, I'm sorry, every time we get chicken nuggets for dinner, that's the first thing I think was Roxanne Perez handing Dom those chicken nuggets. I don't know why. Again, it's another storyline where it's like they set something up, then they kind of just like went away for it for a long time because they had nothing to do in between. But now that Liv is back, it's like, get things going a little bit more, maybe. Because if done right, Judgment Day should implode this year at this year's WrestleMania. And how that happens, again, I'm going to talk about that in that fantasy booking video I want to do. But I thought it was still a great match. It's great chemistry between both these two teams. Yes, I do get we all still have like the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley sting of like, we've seen this too many times. I get it. But it was still a great match. It was fun. And Rio did retain the women's tag titles. And Raquel Rodriguez got involved because she's gained some momentum in this feud she saw going on with the women's world champion Stephanie Vaquer, who you can drop your worries now, because Stephanie Vaquer, for the first couple weeks of the new year, was appearing on Raw with her ankle in a boot. And that had me concerned about, where that stands with her and whatnot. But she returned here, and she did equalize Raquel Rodriguez, and she's 100%. No more boot. Look great. Are they fighting at Rumble? I don't know, because Raquel's still supposed to be in the Rumble match, apparently. But, cool with me. So, I'm glad she's healthy. We're probably going to get the match sometime soon. And it should be great. And I'm hoping, again, although I don't want to sound like I'm down on Raquel, because Raquel has gotten better, but I do look forward for a very high quality women's world title match involving Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania this year. So, that was fun as well. But what was definitely the best part of the night, in my opinion, was this match that was kind of a last-minute ad on SmackDown on Friday. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura one final time. And as I said briefly before I started talking about the matches, this by far is probably going to be the best these two will ever have against each other in the WWE, of course that is. Again, we all know, styles can change, the expectations, and, they want people to, tone it down and whatnot and such, here compared to what you do in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I still remember when they gave us the match at WrestleMania 34. And the match they had was fine, but it was just fine. It wasn't the great classic we were all hoping to have. And again, I've never seen their match from New Japan, but this one was an absolute 50 times better than their WrestleMania 34 match. It was better than whatever happened in their other matches after that. They had 4 other matches after that? Because they had one in Saudi Arabia at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I can't remember what stipulation that was. I still remember from Backlash 2018 when it was a no disqualification match, but yet they both kicked each other in the balls and knocked each other over, and they got counted out by that. Their last man standing match they had that year was good. I will give them that was definitely their best match at the time, but even after that, it's like, these two never got the chance to really showcase what they could do. And like I said, I felt this was the best they could have done, and it was awesome. The only down spot was there was that one botch in the match where AJ Styles was setting up Shinsuke Nakamura to do a Styles Clash. But then Nakamura was trying to do some Scorpio kick to them or something like that. And I think he swung like once or twice and he missed. But he was finally able to get it. That's the only downside in this match. But other than that, it was still, again, an early match of the year candidate for sure. Fast paced. It got to a second and third gear. Some good back and forth, hard hitting moments, great psychology as well, working on Nakamura's leg. And even the callbacks of the little hand motions they would make towards each other, acknowledge Bullet Club and whatnot too. I thought this match was definitely them getting a chance to do what we've been wanting them to see. And like I said, was it New Japan worthy? I don't know. I doubt it, but it was on that level. But what we were going to get here in WWE, I'm glad to see these two get to do that. Afterwards, they showed the sign of respect with the fist bump in the ring and whatnot, which at first I'm thinking, please don't have Nakamura go Nutcracker Nakamura again. Didn't happen, but it also had me really wondering about next Saturday when AJ Styles takes on Gunther on next Saturday. Until this match, I was still believing AJ was going to beat Gunther. Because now that Gunther has retired both Goldberg and John Cena, they're really making it obvious, what the trend is here. Which is making me think, especially since it's Royal Rumble, I didn't think AJ Styles was going to retire at Rumble. But there is the big trend going on right now is that Shinsuke Nakamura shared on his Instagram story, but took it down, a diary post saying that AJ Styles told him Royal Rumble is it. And I can kind of see why, because it is technically the 10-year anniversary of when AJ Styles first debuted in WWE. He came in at Royal Rumble 2016. Part of me feels like there is a chance they could, but I feel like they're making it way too obvious. If it was WrestleMania, I would still say this could be it for AJ. But I don't know. I'm on the mixed fences. Do you guys think this is going to be AJ Styles' last match next Saturday? I'm going to sleep on it and think about it a little bit more. And then whenever I get to do my Rumble preview this week, I'll give you my final thoughts for sure if I think this is going to be it or not for AJ. But still hats off definitely with him and Shinsuke. I know, AJ Styles did get to, reach the highest mountain. Shinsuke never did, and I still feel bad about that. But I'm glad they let him, go all out here like this as well. Because the psychology in this match, again, was very good as well, too. With the working on Shinsuke's knee and whatnot. Because there was a time also where Shinsuke went for the Kinshasa, but the leg gave out as well, too. But I keep saying, this is probably the best it's going to get between these two in WWE. And I'm glad they got one more chance to do that. So I'm very happy for them for sure. And then the main event was a number one contenders match and the winner will face Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship at Royal Rumble next Saturday in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be, this Fatal 4-Way featured the Viper, Randy Orton, Mr. Whoop That Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and the hometown hero, Sami Zayn. First off, before I talk about the match, I do have to mention this. Did anybody else get a big kick out of Randy Orton coming up behind Trick Williams on SmackDown on Friday and dancing the Trick Williams song? Besides when Randy Orton is in his full element as a heel, I just love it when Randy's being all, goofy and whatnot, because he's having fun. We've experienced 2017 Randy Orton, where you can tell he was miserable and hating everything he was doing. He was half-assing it. That's back when my good friend, we all know as Daniel Gaiza, called him Blandy Borton, because he was just boring and just not even trying. And, oh man. But right now, when he's doing stuff like this, it's just a lot of fun to watch him do that. Even when he danced to the New Day song, or even when he appeared behind John Cena or Drew McIntyre, whoever it was, that was the big dancing and whatnot, goofiness and whatnot. He could have still I love it. I absolutely love it when Randy's in that element. Trick Williams, talk about him really quick. They seem to really be showcasing him his first few weeks on the main roster. And I'm glad about that. I just hope they're not going too fast on him. Because, I don't watch NXT. I keep up with it the best I can to see, who's on the radar. Obviously, I knew Trick Williams was. And for what I have seen of him, he has definitely improved a ton. Does he need maybe just a little bit more seasoning before putting the world title on him? But getting an experience like this in the main event scene, is good for him. I do like that. Who he actually fused to going forward, though, I don't know. You could do him and Randy in a feud, maybe, or him and Sami, but I still think Sami Zayn should be focused on the world title picture for the WrestleMania season. But, Damian Priest was in there as well, and again, Sami Zayn. So, the only reason why I was picking Sami to win is because we were in Montreal. And I felt like, especially after they didn't pull the trigger at Elimination Chamber 2023, I felt like they were going to do it this time. And I was right, they did. Match, though, overall was still fun. A lot of great spots, a lot of fast-paced action. Everybody, I thought, came out looking, really, really good and whatnot in the match. Trick Williams looked great with the rest. Randy Orton was just bouncing everybody off of tables. We're going to get bouncy! Because Javon Evans is on the main roster now. Got to get a shout-out to him as well, too. But Sami Zayn did come through with the victory. Hit a haluva kick on Damian Priest. I had heard rumors that Damian Priest was thought about to win this because of his history with Drew McIntyre as well. Honestly, if you wanted to do a thing where Drew kind of finally gets, that full comeuppance, well, I shouldn't say full comeuppance because he's the heel, but will finally, just get his momentum off of Damian after Damian, has gotten it all of him for a long time. I get that, especially if you wanted to keep the title on Drew heading into WrestleMania. But Sami does win, and I'm still going to say he loses to Drew McIntyre but finds his way in the Rumble match next Saturday, is what I'm still going to say. Yeah, so I'm happy for Sami. I just hope that happens, and this is just a one-time thing Although, even though I still think Drew needs to have a reign with this title, I'm not going to be opposed to Sami Zayn winning the title. And if they do Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn, I'm not going to be opposed to that. But I still want to see Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes again wrestle each other. I'm done with that. But again, that opener still had me a little bit worried, so we'll have to wait and see. But that, guys, is my thoughts on Saturday night's main event, and a few other little things I talked about in there as well. I gave this show a B+. Like I said, everything was good. Again, the only thing that has me concerned a little bit is the finish to that brawl with Cody and Jacob. That's the brawl was fun. But again, I don't know how I feel about them teasing doing another match with Cody and Drew. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want that at WrestleMania. Please. Because that's the only way Cody can fight Drew is if he wins the Rumble again. Which there's other options, like I said, you can do if Cody wins the Rumble. You can do Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. But I don't think they're going that route. So we'll have to wait and see what they do, of course, as we Rumble. Again, I'll think about it more before I do my Rumble predictions this week. Like I said, I'm off tomorrow. I got a little bit more time. Give me a little time to get my thoughts done, at least get the graphics ready. Well, I still probably won't have them ready because I don't know if we're fully complete with the matches yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I'm going to give this Saturday's main event a B+. I thought, again, not the greatest show in the world, but one of the stronger versions of Saturday night's main event as well. I thought so too. So, I like that. Live chat, before we go off the air, let's check and see what we got here. We've got Robbie in the live chat saying, so Mike, would you say the mid-card portion of WrestleMania 36 was basically determined by throwing darts at a board given the uncertain nature of the pandemic at that time? Yes. Because there was a ton of matches that were thrown on that show just to fill a time for it to be a 2-night show. Like, again, Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black. Elias and King Corbin was another one of them. What else there? There was a couple more throwaways besides the pre-show matches. I'm not going to count those. Gosh, okay, what else was there? I know there was a couple others that they just added in there for the heck of it, just to probably get people on the card. But yes, it basically was just like, okay, you're fighting you, and whatnot. It's just, my goodness. Yeah, like I said, that WrestleMania was fine, but again, the crowd not being there definitely hurt it. But if it wasn't for that, I don't have too many complaints really about that show. Hey, Drew's WWE champion with fans now. Yes, about time for sure. Like I said, I want him to get a reign. Because also, too, if they weren't going to give Drew the belt, then why the hell did Drew even re-sign with the company? I still feel like when his contract was expiring in 2024, he had one foot out the door. I really thought he was leaving. So, you made the good call also putting the belt on him because of that. Because if not, it would have been like that he should have not re-signed. Rob says, Mike, I'm glad you brought up AJ and Shinsuke 2018 because I feel I immediately thought of it during the match last night as that feud alone gave us the famous Sawe, no speak English. Still remember that line whenever Renee was trying to get an answer from Shinsuke as to why he turned on AJ Styles. They just needed a heel in the feud, and they had no intention of putting the belt on Shinsuke as well, which that's still a damn shame for sure. And Shinsuke blaming the referee for his loss in the last man standing match because he didn't count in Japanese. I forgot about that, actually. Oh, man. That's hilarious. Mike, which do you prefer? Randy Orton's cheesy smile behind John Cena or Dean Ambrose's reaction to Seth Rollins getting slimed? Well, what was funnier about what was funny still about the John Cena one was when John turned around and you hear John go, shit, and get RKO'd. That alone, but I'm sorry, it still has a special place in my heart. And even with I still have Dean Ambrose's old theme on my phone. Let me hear, hold on here, let me see here. Not now, where is Retaliation, or whatever Dean Ambrose's theme's called. I still love that moment. That it is still, if you guys, oh, right, forgot, my camera's up here. It's the album art for Dean Ambrose's theme song on my phone. I gotta give that the rub. That moment there with Ambrose going, that's still my favorite thing. Probably my favorite cheesy smiles. So yes, the answer to that, although again with the Orton and Cena moment, it was still seen as a little shit. He slipped in there. But I gotta give that rub right there to Dean Ambrose's reaction to Seth getting slimed. I think it was not just that; it was the way that was shot perfectly with a close up on Seth's angry face, and he cut the Dean going. I still love that moment. I love it. Let me see here. Don't forget, the only reason Priest was world champion was because of CM Punk. Yes, that is the case with that for sure. And didn't Natalya wrestle Liv Morgan at WrestleMania 36? On the pre-show she did, yes. One of the nights they wrestled on the pre-show. I can't remember which night it was, though. One of the two nights they wrestled on the pre-show. But thank you guys, as always, for your comments in the live chat. I'm going to try to record my fantasy booking video idea I have, again, for the Jacob Fatu attack. And let's just put it this way. I'm still going to say Cody's involved in this. But is he the attacker? Or is he the mastermind? You're going to have to find out. I'm hoping to get that. Again, I still have that. I still have the Natalya Turn Alert video to do as well. Some baseball highlights and news videos I want to get caught up with. I still got to do my congratulations for the new members of the Hall of Fame, which are going to be Jeff Kent, Carlos Beltran, and Andrew Jones. I have a fantasy book video for the Judgment Day. I also have one coming for Charlotte Flair as well. But again, my big thing I'm excited for that I'm hoping to get done this week is still the first video in the best and worst match series by year. Because again, I have everything laid out for 2014. I just have to put the finishing touches on it. So hopefully by the end of the week, I will have those available. If not, you'll have the first one available very, very soon. And I've been working for almost 2 years on that series. And I'm hoping to have it wrapped up this year. So we're going to roll with that. So thank you again, guys. I'm going to sign off here. And again, hopefully get maybe 1 or 2 more videos recorded right now and get them uploaded soon. Again, though, I am off work tomorrow because of the snow. So maybe I'll have a little more time. Who knows? But I do have some stuff around the house I got to do as well. Yeah, that is my thoughts on Saturday night's main event from the January 24th, 2026 edition. Where you guys saw us in the show, I gave the B+. Was AJ and Shinsuke your match tonight? Leave your thoughts again down in the comments section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night or day. Stay warm, stay safe, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!